While running for office, Bruce Rauner promised to shake up Springfield. Last night, we heard the governor discuss his plans in his own words as he looks back on his first 100 days in office and looks ahead to the future. Tonight, we check in with the lawmakers the governor will need to work with and the experts who will be following his political moves. Here's News Channel 20 State House reporter Jordan Abadea with part 2 of our special report on Governor Bruce Rauner.
Maggie, when Governor Rauner was inaugurated, both Democrats and Republicans pledged to work together, and that promise seems to be holding for now, but it's changing the way things are done at the State House. Governor Bruce Rauner won the election on promises of shaking up Springfield. 100 days in, experts say there have been hits and misses, but everyone agrees it's been interesting.
If I had to give him a grade, I'd probably give him maybe a C-. And I say that because he's done some positive things.
Those positive things, creating a criminal justice reform task force and issuing executive orders on ethics reforms. But Wheeler, who's covered the State House for decades, says some of his actions on unions could create a hostile political environment.
There are areas where compromise could be worked out, for example, on workers' compensation or on unemployment insurance or on the civil justice system, where you could make changes that you could get Democrats to buy into, but you're never going to get them to buy into right to work.
Rauner's stance on unions even sets him apart from fellow Republican governors like Jim Thompson, who signed collective bargaining into law. While divided government isn't new in Illinois, it's the first time Democrats have had to work with the Republican governor in over a decade. Republicans say they're excited to have a seat at the table now.
What I sense, one word if I could use, is energy, excitement, cautious optimism are things that I've heard. I think everyone realized that the state is really in bad shape and that we have a governor now who has the energy and the interest and the ability to bring people together to move us forward.
Democrats echoing the promise of bipartisanship. In a rare interview, Senate President John Cullerton says they'll work to pass the governor's turnaround agenda, but he acknowledges there are more pressing issues at hand.
Well, we're certainly going to cooperate with him on his issues, and he has asked us to start to form working groups, which we're going to do. But again, it is really not directly related to the budget in any way. And we have to pass a budget here, and we're going to do it in a bipartisan fashion. Republicans haven't voted for a budget in the 6 years that I've been the president, so we're looking forward to that too. But so far, the budget the governor's proposed is not balanced in any way, and he pretty much has admitted that. So we're waiting to hear from him what his plans are for a balanced budget, and that's really the most important thing we do here.
But bipartisanship tackled its first test when the General Assembly passed a budget fix for fiscal year 15 that closed a $1.6 billion gap. Those dealings taking place behind closed doors. Experts say that's going to be the norm moving forward in order to get both sides to compromise.
It's a new dynamic. And, job number one was to fix the mess that was created last year. I think we accomplished that. Governor Rauner deserves much of the credit for that. It took his leadership and his willingness to say no and draw a line in the sand and say, we're not going to spend more money than we bring in.
But the deal hit a snag after the Rauner administration suspended $26 million in grants on Good Friday after Democrats thought things like autism programs would be spared under the deal. Speaker Madigan convened a budget panel where Rauner's budget director apologized for the miscommunication, promising to do better.
If Madigan decides that you're not trustworthy, you're going to have a very difficult time being an effective governor. Just ask Rod Blagojevich.
Senate Democrats passing another bill this week that would give the governor the power to restore those grants through more fund sweeps.
Those cuts were totally unnecessary, and they should be restored. And I don't know if the governor's trying to send a message, or maybe he doesn't fully understand the implications, but we have done everything we can to bring this to his attention.
Rauner's administration has promised to make the information more readily available, and they recently released a detailed list of the cuts that will take place as part of the fiscal year 15 deal. And lawmakers are still willing to work together.
I think there's a lot more engagement on the process on both sides of the aisle, and that's a good thing for everyone, I believe.
Governor Bruce Rauner has indicated he wants to pass his turnaround agenda before the end of session in May, and lawmakers still have to pass the budget. Even if session extends into summer, experts say a lot of dealing will take place between party leadership and the administration, then move quickly through the House and Senate. But those negotiations could take months. Maggie?
Jordan, experts say that part of the negotiations could include new revenue, but it will be hard to balance the budget just on cuts. Governor Rauner's proposed budget banks on more than $2 billion in savings on a pension plan that will need final approval from the courts.